Okay, let's talk about a pretty serious warning that's coming from one of the most influential figures on the planet, Elon Musk. And look, whether you're a fan of his or not, that's not really the point today. This is about a pattern, a track record of predictions that you just can't ignore, especially his latest one, which points directly to the year 2026.
And that right there, that really gets to the heart of it, doesn't it? I mean, if someone gets one prediction right, you could call it luck. Two might be a coincidence. But when you start hitting a dozen, or even 20 in a row, well, that's not luck anymore. That's a track record. So let's do exactly that. Let's stop laughing and start listening to what he sees coming.
To really understand the weight of his latest warning, we've got to look back at his past prophecies. Because here's the thing about Elon Musk. He doesn't just predict the future. He literally spends billions and billions of dollars to build it.
I mean, just take a look at this. Back in 2011, the idea of reusable rockets landing themselves, that sounded like something straight out of a sci-fi movie. Now, SpaceX does it so often we barely even talk about it. A decade ago, people laughed at the idea of electric cars taking over. Now, Tesla is the standard everyone else is chasing. And Neuralink, moving a cursor on a screen just by thinking about it, yeah, that's not a future concept. That's already happening. This history is why we have to pay attention to what he's saying now.
So, with that track record front and center, here it is. This is his latest and maybe his most important warning yet. He's basically saying that the fundamental pillars of our lives, how we go to school, how we earn a living, and how we save for the future, are all about to become obsolete. And he says it all kicks off in 2026.
So the big question is why? Why 2026? What's going to happen? To get that, we need to pop the hood on the global economy and really see why the old rulebook for how money works is just, well, it's broken.
This number right here, 141%, this is a massive blinking red light. It means that, for the first time in modern history, there's more money sloshing around the system than the entire value of all the goods and services the world actually produces. You know, it used to be the other way around. Now it's like for every dollar we pump into the global economy, we're only getting about 70 cents of actual growth back. We're literally losing ground.
And this chart just paints the perfect picture of the problem, even for the biggest economy in the world. Between 2011 and 2022, the U.S. took on $12 trillion in new debt, but the economy only grew by $7 trillion. Think about that. You're borrowing way more than you're creating. The system is basically running on fumes, just piling on more debt to stay in motion. A massive technological shift isn't just a cool idea at this point. It's becoming a mathematical necessity.
And that technological shift, that's artificial intelligence. Musk believes AI is going to trigger what he calls a hellish upheaval that will last for about 3 to 7 years, starting right around 2026. And this isn't about getting some cool new apps on your phone. This is about a complete change in the value of human work itself.
Which brings us to the question that honestly should keep us all up at night. When an AI can perform surgery better than the best human surgeon, grow our food, build our homes, and do it all for basically the cost of electricity, what is your labor worth? What is my labor worth?
And listen, this isn't just one guy's opinion. The IMF, the International Monetary Fund, they're backing this up. They estimate that in advanced economies, places like the US, Canada, and Europe, a staggering 60% of all jobs could be impacted by AI. The scale of this thing is just, it's huge.
This is maybe the single most important idea to really let sink in. We are not talking about a better spreadsheet program. We're talking about a technology whose entire reason for being is to replace human labor, not just help it. Musk warns that if you're starting a 6-year degree program today, there's a very real chance that by the time you graduate, an AI will already be doing that job better and for a fraction of the cost.
Okay, so that's the problem. It sounds pretty grim, right? But here's the pivot. Here's where we stop talking about the problem and start talking about the solution. And it all comes down to a fundamental shift, understanding the difference between earning money from your labor and earning money from your capital. This example is just, it's perfect. On one side, you have the CEO of Coca-Cola, a brilliant person who works incredibly hard, manages a global empire, and gets paid around $60 million a year for it. But then you have Warren Buffett. What does he do? He just owns the stock. His money is doing the work for him. And from that one company alone, it pays him over $600 million a year. That is the insane, almost unfair power of capital over labor. So what are the big players, the smart money, doing right now? Well, they're acting like the money we use every day is becoming less and less reliable. You can see it right here.
Central banks around the world are buying up physical gold at the fastest rate in history. At the same time, they're selling off government bonds, which are really just paper promises. They are literally trading in promises for hard assets you can actually hold.
All right, so this brings us to the final and frankly, the most important part of all of this. What's your path forward? How can you and I navigate this massive shift and actually build real financial security when all the old rules are being thrown out the window?
This is it. If you take one thing away from our time together today, let it be this. The mindset that got our parents and grandparents ahead, go to school, get a safe job, put money in a savings account, that playbook is not going to work anymore. The goal isn't just to work for your money. The goal is to learn how to make your money work for you.
Now, I know what you're thinking. Making that jump from a worker's mindset to an investor's mindset can feel huge. It can be totally overwhelming. Where do you even begin? Well, to help you get started on the right foot, there are some amazing resources out there. A really great first step could be taking a stock investment masterclass that's actually built for this new AI era. We've put a link to a completely free one in the description below that can show you how to start building an income system that isn't tied to the hours you work.
So really, the path forward is pretty clear when you break it down. It starts with a decision to adopt that investor mindset. Then you have to learn the new strategies that are going to work in this AI-driven world. Joining a free training like the one we linked to is a perfect, practical step number 3. The whole point is to start building that security now before this shift really picks up speed.
So I'll leave you with this final thought. One thing is absolutely for sure. The game of money is changing, whether we are ready for it or not. The only real question left is, are you willing to learn the new rules so you can play?